horn. On a quiet, star-filled night, a tiny basket drifted down a winding river, carrying a very special passenger. It floated deeper and deeper into the heart of the jungle, until a lone wolf, with curious eyes, spotted it bobbing near the bank. Gently, he nudged the basket to shore and discovered a human baby nestled inside. Instead of being afraid, the wolf's heart was filled with warmth. He carefully carried the baby back to his den. The entire wolf pack welcomed the small human, amazed by this strange new arrival. They decided to call him Mowgli. From that day on, the jungle became Mowgli's home, and the wolves became his family. He learned to run with the pack, his small legs growing strong and fast. He learned to jump over fallen logs and tangled roots. He even learned to lift his head to the moon and howl, his voice joining the chorus of his wolf brothers. The jungle was his playground, and every day was a new adventure. Mowgli, who was never alone. Sure, he had two very special teachers who were also his best friends. First, there was Baloo, a big, cuddly bear with a heart full of wisdom and a love for lazy afternoons. Then there was Bagheera, a sleek, silent black panther whose movements were like shadows and whose eyes missed nothing. Together, they taught Mowgli everything he needed to know about the laws and secrets of the jungle. Baloo would often sit with Mowgli under the shade of a large banyan tree. Now, listen, little britches, Baloo would rumble. The jungle provides everything we need. But you must only take what you need to survive. A handful of berries, a piece of fruit. Never be greedy. Respect the balance. Mowgli would nod seriously, popping a juicy berry into his mouth and learning the great lesson of contentment. Bagheera, on the other hand, taught him about survival. The jungle is beautiful, Mowgli, the panther would say in his smooth, low voice, but it is also full of dangers. You must always be aware. Listen to the rustle of the leaves, feel the change in the wind, and trust your instincts. He taught Mowgli how to climb trees as swiftly as a squirrel and how to move through the undergrowth without making a sound. Mowgli was a fantastic student. He soaked up every lesson like a sponge, his mind sharp and his body nimble. He was becoming a true son of the jungle. Life was peaceful and happy. Mowgli swung on vines with the monkeys, raced with the deer, and swam in the cool river with the elephants. He felt like he belonged. But one day, a dark and menacing shadow fell over their paradise. A powerful, angry roar echoed through the trees, making the birds fall silent and the smaller animals scurry for cover. Shere Khan, the most feared tiger in the jungle, had returned. His stripes were like jagged shadows, and his eyes burned with a fierce hatred. "Humans don't belong here," he snarled, his voice a low growl that vibrated through the ground. His very presence was a threat to the harmony and peace that Mowgli and his friends cherished. The animals of the jungle whispered in fear. Everyone knew of Shere Khan's cruelty and his deep-seated grudge against humans. Mowgli's wolf family gathered around him protectively. Baloo stood tall, his usual jolly expression replaced with a look of serious concern. Bagheera's muscles tensed, ready for a fight. "We need a plan," Baloo declared, his voice firm. "We can't let Shere Khan harm the boy." Bagheera nodded in agreement. "But what can we do? He is too strong for any one of us to face alone." The animals looked at each other, a sense of helplessness creeping in. But then, a small voice spoke up. It was Mowgli. His eyes, usually filled with laughter, now held a spark of cleverness and determination. "I have an idea," he said. Everyone turned to look at him. "Let's use fire." The red flower. Shere Khan is afraid of it. It was a brilliant thought. All animals feared the red flower, but Shere Khan's terror of it was legendary. A buzz of excitement went through the crowd. Mowgli's plan gave them hope. It was a long shot, but it was their only shot. United by a common purpose, the entire jungle rallied to help. It was an incredible sight. The mighty elephants used their strength to push over dead trees, clearing a path and gathering wood. The chattering monkeys, usually so mischievous, became a disciplined army. They swung from branch to branch, high up in the canopy, gathering strong vines and dropping them to the ground below. Flocks of birds flew back and forth, their beaks filled with dry leaves and twigs, creating piles of kindling. Everyone had a role to play, and they worked together with a unity the jungle had never seen before. Teamwork made them formidable. Mowgli, guided by the knowledge passed down from legends of man, found two special stones. He struck them together again and again, creating sparks. Finally, a spark caught on the dry leaves, and a small flame flickered to life. Carefully, he nurtured it, feeding it twigs until it grew into a steady flame. He lit the end of a long, sturdy branch, creating a blazing torch. There, holding the fiery stick high, Mowgli felt a surge of courage. He wasn't afraid. He was protecting his home and his family. With Baloo and Bagheera by his side, he walked toward the clearing where Shere Khan was waiting. The tiger sneered when he saw the small boy approaching. "You think you can stand against me, man-cub," he growled. But then he saw the fire. His eyes widened, and he took an involuntary step back. Mowgli stood his ground, the light of the flames dancing in his determined eyes. "Leave this jungle," Mowgli commanded, his voice ringing with a power that surprised even himself. "You are not welcome here anymore." Shere Khan let out a frustrated roar, a mix of anger and fear. He lunged forward, then flinched back as Mowgli thrust the torch towards him. The heat and the crackling sound of the fire were too much for him. The tiger, for all his strength and ferocity, was ultimately a coward in the face of the one thing he couldn't conquer. With a final, defeated growl, Shere Khan turned and fled, disappearing into the dark woods, his menacing shadow gone for good. A moment of silence hung in the air, and then the jungle erupted in a joyous roar. Cheers and howls and trumpets of victory echoed from every corner. The monkeys chattered excitedly, the wolves howled in celebration, and the elephants stomped their feet in triumph. Mowgli had done it. The small boy, with his quick mind and brave heart, had saved them all. Baloo, beaming with pride, rushed forward and scooped Mowgli up into a giant bear hug. He twirled him around and around, laughing with pure joy. "That's my boy! That's my boy!" he exclaimed, his voice filled with love and admiration. Bagheera watched with a rare, proud smile on his face. Mowgli was more than just a boy who lived in the jungle. He was a hero. Shelled everyone that true strength doesn't come from sharp claws or big teeth, but from bravery, intelligence, and kindness. He was a bridge between two worlds, the world of the wild and the world of man, belonging to both, and yet uniquely himself. And so, the jungle lived in peace once more, its harmony restored. The story of the man-cub who faced down the great tiger became a legend, whispered on the wind and told to every new generation. It was a story that proved that even the smallest child, when armed with a courageous heart and the love of loyal friends, could achieve the greatest of things. Thanks for watching our story today. If you enjoyed this adventure, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more amazing tailies. See you next time.